All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is November 1st, 2017. This is a Wednesday webinar, and we're just going to talk about how to use Object Trader. But as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of instrument trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar, other webinars we might have, our live trading room, or anything else with Viper Trading System should ever be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, you do trade at your own sole discretion. Now, what I've got up here on the screen right now is a 4-range chart for everybody. Okay, what we have with Viper Trading System, let me just show you here real quick. We sent out a template for you to use, Ultimate OT Power, MTF. I think yours may say trial. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and load that, and hopefully we don't have any more problems with market replay, but it should load. There we go. All right, now what we have on our chart, first off, let me just go over a few of the things that we have. Okay, in your little indicator box, we have all these indicators for you to use. And if you use our template the exact way that we do it in the room, you'll have exactly our charts. Okay, let me get this kind of skinny down a little bit and I'll show you the things as we go. Okay, first off, we've got a toolbar on the screen. You'll notice that I draw lines and things like that. This is just a standard Ninja toolbar. Okay, we have swing high low, which are actually when these make these little thrusts, you'll see these little dots that'll form. They'll form above and they'll also form below. See the little white ones, the little blue ones? That's your swing high low. That's actually telling you kind of where, you know, the scripts have figured a swing is. Okay, now we've also got the lightning scripts, and I'll go over those individually here in just a minute. Okay, but lightning is just simply the little thrust, little retrace, little thrust, little retrace, and you can draw those on your charts, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, you also have this dynamic trend. Now the dynamic trend is this midband script. You'll notice a midband. The way our dynamic trend works is you have these are 8 lines across your chart. You'll notice that this is like an area. This is actually from top to the very bottom is 48 ticks. Okay, line 0, line 1, line 2, line 3 is this little shadowed yellow. Line 4 is the midband. So anytime we talk about midband, that's line 4. Line 5 is the top of the little shadows. If you can see, this may be a little hard to see, but this shadow is actually like a yellow shadow. That's line 5. Line 6, line 7, and line 8. Okay, now that's really important because once you start using our trail stop, they're numbered. So for instance, if I said I was going to use line 2 or say 3 as a trail stop, you'll notice that you never got taken out of this trade at all, and you still haven't as of now anyway. Okay, and then we also have your time regions. Now these are really good because what they do is they simply draw rectangles on your chart based on time. I'm going to show you how to use that also. You have a power display. That's actually this little display here in the left hand corner of your screen. It is movable. I can't move it now because this window's up, but you can move this anywhere on the screen you want it. Okay, now this is actually talking about lightning 1, lightning 2, lightning 3, and lightning 4. All right, then I'll go over lightning separately, but you have lightning 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'll show you how to use them. You have horizontal lines on here. This is simply, they're lines that are the normal Ninja line, but they show the price on them. Just a little deal that we have in our scripts. Somebody gave that to me. All right, then we have, well, let's see, you've got another time region here, which you shouldn't have 2 in here because I don't have Object Trader on. You have bar color. Now your bar color is just simply the color of these bars. We use like a yellow, a blue, and a red. Okay, and I'll go over kind of how to read those. You have background. Now you'll notice this little MTF after the name here. That stands for multiple tick frame, okay? Because we've got our bars, our background, and our stealth, and even our predictor and our lightnings where you can actually control the way you want to set it up on your own chart. Now, we've got a certain way we like it, but if you want to, you can actually change these to anything you want. And I'll show you how to do that too. Okay, and then we have what's called the stealth trend. The stealth is actually this little chunky line right here. See where that turned green right here? Green again, green again, green again, red, like that. That's your stealth. And that's also built into Object Trader, so you can actually trade the stealth. Now I'm going to go over how to use the Object Trader right now. Okay, but this is just a little quick synopsis of how to see the actual indicators that are on your chart. Now on Lightning 1, 2, 3, and 4, basically on Lightning 3 and 4 you have numbers. Now anytime you see dual numbers, that means that's a dual swing. That's a Lightning 3 and a Lightning 4 swing. If it's just a single number, it's just Lightning 3. So you can clearly see real quick on your chart that you have a double one, a double one, a double one, a double one. Those are a little bit more important because those are 12 range swings. Okay, that's looking at a 12 range chart to get that swing. And the way Lightning is set up on your indicators, let's go ahead and go to Lightning 1. All right, Lightning 1 is set up on the Alt key. We've got what we call hotkeys on Lightning, and all you simply do is hold down the key itself and just click on a swing. Okay, any little micro swing on the Lightning 1 and 2. Now, if you do it on Lightning 3 and 4, you have to go with the swings that are numbered, or they won't print, because that is Lightning 3, okay, when they're numbered, and it's Lightning 4 when they're double numbered. And the way these hotkeys are is Lightning 1 is Alt key, Lightning 2 is Shift key, Lightning 3 is Control key, and Lightning 4 is your backspace key. Okay, so let me show you how to draw those real quick, because this, until you see these on your chart, you want to kind of draw them at first, because it'll really show you, the overall trend. Let me draw Lightning 3 first. Control key, hold it down, left click. If it doesn't draw the whole way, just simply do it again, like that, and you'll notice, see, you have a high, you have a low, you have a higher low, little double top. Okay, so when you're diagnosing your chart, you're seeing right now that you pretty much got support right there. See how that's consolidating right around support? Okay, that's Lightning 3. Now, Lightning 1, if you draw from like this top right here, you simply hold down the Alt key and click, left click. And if it doesn't do it right, which for some reason it doesn't always, let me get this out of the way. Okay, there you go. All right, see how you have Lightning 1, you have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high, and you have a lower low once it takes out this swing. Now, if you want to know about identified swings, be sure and watch my webinar from Monday night, because identified swings are always on the right side of the chart, and they're on the left side of the chart. And that's what you're looking at. For instance, when I got up this morning, I simply saw this setup right here. And this is actually one of those boxed in areas that you want to really look at closely at very possibly a trend change, to give an example. Okay, because what's happening right now? Well, you have a low, you have high, higher low, higher low, barely higher high, but that's support. So if it takes that out, could it do this? Could it actually come down, retrace a little bit maybe, and then head over again? And that's what we're looking for. And that's how we get in some of these trades with almost no heat a lot of times. Okay, so now that you know about Lightning, anybody have any questions on any of these indicators or anything? Because if you have your template set up correctly, which we send out, you just simply right click and put it on your chart. Okay, now let's look at time regions, because those are really good too. Right click and go to indicators. You have one called time regions. And since I'm in Oklahoma, my time region is going to be set on Central Time. Okay, but if you're in California, you'd have this same one set at 5:59 because you're Pacific time instead. Okay, so what I do each morning is I just simply go back on this little indicator right here and I change my dates. For instance, tomorrow morning is the 2nd, right? So you just simply 2nd, 2nd. Now we know those are times because that's actually the market opens. Let me change this to 8:32 because that's our other box that we draw in the morning. And then I always like to have one on 9 o'clock also because that's usually a good news time. Keep in mind if you're in California, that's 7 o'clock. And then usually you have some kind of a high energy time. Now high energy times are sent out to our members each evening, and we also draw boxes for these, like 5:36, these are always Pacific time, by the way. So that's 7:36 my time, and this would be 9:04 my time. Okay, so I would simply draw a box at 9:04, and that's what I did today. Okay, you have another one that just came up just a few minutes ago at 10:20 my time. So setting these little regions is really good to put these boxes on your charts because it'll give you a real good idea of where a high energy time was or an open of the market. Remember when we traded oil just a little bit ago? We just simply used that box. And it was told ahead of time exactly how we were going to use it. So you just simply put those on your chart. I'm not going to go ahead and do this because I don't want to load this chart again, but you get the drift of how to change that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put Object Trader on the chart. Bear with me just a second. I'll put Object Trader on. Okay, and you'll notice that we're in replay mode. Okay, now if you're here on trial with us, your Object Trader will work exactly like our members does, except it works in Sim 101 and Replay 101 only. That's coded into the script. So if you put a live account in there, it won't trade it. Okay, let's see, could you use the F1, F2, F3 keys instead so it's the same area for hot keys? Well, actually, Greg, on your question, the problem is NinjaTrader uses a lot of those keys, and you wouldn't believe how much trouble we had finding the keys we found because you'll punch like, F1 and you'll find out that it works on, in Ninja stuff. So we had to actually use keys that were, would work for us, and being hotkeys on Lightning and everything. I find those pretty easy because Shift, Control, and Alt are right together on your left on your keyboard, and your backspace is just right there, on the far right of your keyboard. So that's why we chose those. But you'll be surprised how many of those function keys Ninja already has. Believe me, we wanted to, because we've got some other hotkeys I want to talk to you about too. Okay. Now this is being recorded, so if anybody has to leave, it's not a problem. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to Object Trader again. And let me do one other thing real quick. Bear with me a second. I'm going to close this for a second because I got to get to a little book first. Let me show you this little book here. Okay, now everybody got a link to this book. This is actually for members only, but during your trial, you've actually got this book. Okay, so you're welcome to use it any way you want to. All right, but this is called the Object Trader video book. And basically what it does is it's basically like starting with Object Trader at the top of Object Trader and going down. You simply start with parameters and settings like when you open Object Trader. This walks through every single thing about the parameters, how to save default settings so you can always keep them on your chart, even how to set up templates. We've got templates in Object Trader, how to activate your live account instead of Sim. Be sure to check your orders on exit. These are really important stuff. I won't go into them as much, but when you start trading your live account, do not just assume because you turn Ninja off that you don't have a trade on, because there are electronic glitches that could happen that you might think you're out of a trade and you're not. So always make sure you check your account, your positions, and your orders. Never leave your desk without doing that, unless you've got your stop in, and you're actually still trading. But when you shut down for the day, that's one of the most important things you can do, is be sure to always check your account positions and everything and orders. So I did a little video on that too. And then it just goes down the list into the object types that are with Object Trader. We talk about boxing in. That's a region. That's just simply a boxed in trade. And I'm going to show you that in just a minute. All right. And then as you go down the list, you'll see how to use bar closes, how to do lightning. And these are just 7 or 8 minute videos. But rather than having a 9-hour webinar right now and going through every single feature on here, I'll just leave it up to you to go to this little ebook, because I spent about 4 days just doing little 5-6 minute videos to make sure that everybody could get the gist of how to set it up on your chart. For instance, if I want to know how to set up a region on my chart, just click that little video. It'll play right away. It's linked to our website, and it's got a video connected to it. Okay, so on your first email that you got from us this week that said, learn to trade part-time, full-time, be sure and get that video. Let's see, Albert, I'm with a broker that does not support Ninja Trader. Albert, I could talk to you on that, because we do call the trades in the room and everything if you want to talk to me on that. And you'll learn to see them, in real time. The one thing, Viper's a little bit different than, a lot of the vendors out there, or even trade rooms, because we've developed a system that, we don't rely on lagging indicators and things like that. We teach people to trade price action. And, when we say to box in, to give an example, that's exactly what we mean to do. And I'll show you what I did with gold this morning. So we'll go to our strategy. Now keep in mind, on your little ebook, it's going to walk you through everything, even about these parameters and things like that. I won't go into all that right now. But one of the most important things you have to do with Object Trader, if you want to trade it like we teach it, Ninja Trader automatically goes to 1 minute charts. So when you first put Object Trader on, your predictors may be duplicated on your chart. Be sure to change this to 4 range and your stealth to 4 range. Because if you don't do that, you're going to have duplicate predictors all over your chart and stealth. Okay, but that's in the video, in the instructional video that I said to how to put the scripts on. All right, so we're in replay mode, so we're just going to go ahead and click this on Object Trader. All right, now the way you do on Object Trader, you'll notice that you have 3 buttons at the top. This is long disabled, which means no trade. This is short disabled, no trade. And this is reverse disabled, which means no trade. Okay, now if I want to set up a region on this chart, we have a hotkey for region, which is the insert key. Now if you're on a laptop, you may have to figure out what your insert key is. Sometimes it's like 2 buttons you have to push, but you can even go online to Google and download a key identifier, little software where you can tell a key to be the insert key if you want to. Okay, to box this in though, see, you're seeing this right here. See, they're already breaking support. Now if they break here, you kind of figure they're coming down to here more than likely. Okay, because you got a nice swing there. So that could be a decent little trade, right? Boxed in. So you just simply click your insert key, and there's your box. Okay, now notice the box doesn't necessarily go above this next swing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to raise this up a little bit like this, because if I'm going to go long, I don't want to get bipped into it. And if I'm going to go short, I want to get in this way. Okay, so then you just simply turn on long enabled. If it's set on close, that means that if a bar closes above that, it will go long with X number of contracts. If it goes below the box with a close, if this is turned on, it will do X number of contracts. Okay, now on your Object Trader, you do also have a max number of contracts that's set automatically. And I've got mine set to 10. Okay, but keep in mind that, when you're doing your sim and everything, you can do what you want. But keep in mind that if you're going to be trading like a $7,000 account, you do not want to put that on 10 contracts. Okay, be sure and set that to like 2 or 3. What that means is that you can't do over that many contracts on a particular chart. Let me show you how to do that. If I wanted to set this to like 3 to give an example, I just simply right click and set that as my default. And that'll remember that 3 each and every time. If I wanted to do it on 4, I just simply right click and set it as my default. Okay, and then we'll just do it with 4 and we'll put it back on the chart. Now, if you ever take Object Trader off a chart, you'll notice that you do have to put it back on. It defaults to region with long enabled, short enabled turned off, and reverse enabled. Okay, so I'm going to do insert again. This box is dynamic on your chart, which means it can be moved. If I click on it, I can stretch it, I can move it, I can do anything I want with it. And that means live. Okay, so I can actually add to trades if I want to by simply moving this box and turning this back on. It's a very powerful tool when you're trading. All right, so let's just start with 2, and I'll show you how to use this box if you wanted to add, because I took this trade this morning, and you saw the box, as a matter of fact, that I drew on the chart. So we set it like this. If you want to get in with a touch instead of a close, you just simply turn this to touch instead. If it closes, or pardon me, if it touches 3 ticks out of that box, it'll fire the trade. If you set it for close plus 3, it would have to close a bar plus 3 ticks. If you set it for closed only, it just simply has to close below the box. The way this box works, see this T button here and the B button? That is your top button, which simply means the top of the box. And the B button is the bottom of the box. Now, the way we designed Object Trader is it can take a long at the bottom of the box. It can take a short through the bottom. It can do anything you can set up here. I can do an inside trade. I can do a break outside. I can short the top of a box, to give an example. Let's say that I saw this swing up here and I thought, you know what, if it gets up there, I'm just going to go ahead and short it. I could actually set this for short inside, touch like +2, and it would fire the second it hits this and pull back 2 ticks short by just simply using these buttons any way you want them. And you can change them on the fly. So I can do any kind of trade I want to with these buttons. And there's a little PDF. Let me show you where that's at real quick before we go any further. This may be more than 30 minutes, obviously, but that's okay. It'll be recorded. I'll go ahead and go to the webinar link. We do have a few little booklets on it. If you go to vipertradingsystems.com/webinars, you'll notice that we've actually put our latest webinar. This is Monday night's webinar. It's already on for you to watch free of charge. All you got to do is just click on it. Okay, but there are a couple of little JPEGs down here that will help you out quite a bit, because this will explain how the buttons are and trade types for Object Trader. You just click on them and it'll show you what it means by top button, bottom button, top button, bottom button, top button, bottom button. See what I mean? In other words, see these green arrows? Long from, long out, short inside, long inside, short outside, long outside. I mean, we've developed this thing to be a pretty good little trader, okay? Because you can do any of these type of trades you want. All right, let's go back. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and speed this up just a little bit, and we'll get in a trade. Now, if I have this set for long and short here, guess what? It's not going to fire anything. So I need to make sure this is set for short outside, because I want to take the trade if it breaks the swing. That's how we're boxing it in, and then we're boxing it this way in case it decides to go long. All right. See how it just kissed the top of that? I'm going to go ahead and do close. There we go. All right, let's just see. Charles likes close. Some of our people choose touch. By the way, you can do this even on the fly, see that swing right there? I can move this box and try to get it even quicker because it's never fired the trade. See how I just resized that box right there? Which video, Havad? You mean the one I just, this one? Oh, we'll have it posted. They're in MP4 format, so I think you can watch it on your phone or like an iPad. Okay, notice how I've got my region set to where if it closes below that box, it will fire 2 contracts. It will set my targets at 10 and 18 because that's what my targets are set right here. Okay, and let's see if we can just get a little trade. I'll show you how to use this little tool to where you can actually maximize your trading because it's getting ready to fire a trade. And the reason I use market replay in my webinars is because I can run it faster. You know, we could sit here for an hour in the regular market and we might not get anything. There you go, you're in your trade. Okay, now what you want to do right off the bat is move your targets to a particular area that you want to take some coins. See that swing right there? That's where I'd probably take some coin. Okay, but what if you wanted to, in real time, if it comes back up here, comes up in here a little further, or maybe even into here now since it's breaking down. See, I can move that live. See where my little swing is right here? What if I wanted to add one? I can do a short inside by just simply doing like touch. We're looking at the T button, which is the top of the box, and I'm going to try to add 1 contract if it comes right here to this swing and rolls over. If it blows through it, it never will add it. Okay, now I could bring my stop down a little bit too, obviously. Okay, everybody see how to use that region so far? Like I say, this is a powerful little tool because when we say to box these in like this, notice that that's already $230. Okay, now for a lot of people that might be enough. But what if you're one of those traders that likes to hit even more? You know, what if this thing decides to even break out of this box here? What if I wanted to go ahead and even short some more? Well, I just missed it. I didn't do it quick enough. That's okay. All right, notice that if I'd done it in time, I'd have another contract on here because I just simply took it as it, well, it did. It touched it. So we're in. We're actually in the trade. Now, this may retrace a little bit on us because anytime they thrust, they usually do. Now, remember, I've only got the ability to do 3 contracts on Object Trader. No, we've got 4. We do have 4. So you want to see if we can add one right up here? That's a little swing area. We won't add it when it comes out of the bottom again. We'll add it if it comes right back up here. And we're going to bring our stop just right to mid-band. Okay. See how you can use this in real time on your chart. I can actually move this and take this trade just simply by just moving the little box live. It's a pretty cool little tool. Notice how you're just getting a little bit of pullback. We're okay. We didn't get any extra trade, but we're good to go with 3. Everybody see that? All right. Now let me show you how to use something because this is what I did this morning because gold actually thrusted. All right. Now notice how lightning is actually red right now. Well, if lightning turns green, I can actually get out of this trade. And I'll show you how to do that. Notice how lightning's right here right now. Well, if that goes above that, that'll turn green. But I can actually use this. Let's say I've got 3 contracts and I want to get out of all of them. I just simply set it for 3, turn on power meter, and long instead. And if this does happen to go green, it'll take me out of all 3 contracts. That easy. Okay, so you can even use, you know, all of our tools as far as that goes. You've got a region, you've got a bar close trade that you can do. I'll show you how to do a bar close. You want to just see? We'll kill this trade, and I'll do a bar close. Bar close, we'll go ahead and kill this trade. Bar close short. 3 contracts. What this will do, if that bar closes down, it will fire 3 contracts. See there? Wow, look at that. Good trade. I'm going to go ahead and protect the trade with lightning instead of bar close. And we'll move our targets out of the way. Because where would this take me out of this trade? Lightning. I don't even have to move the stop at all if I don't want to, because if lightning actually takes this trade right across here, it'll take me out. Or any lightning, if it does a little pop up, pull back, pop up again, it'll make a lightning swing. Now sometimes when they don't make a little swing, there's a swing right there, see it? That's a little lightning swing, so it should actually take me out on it. There it did, close of the bar. See there how much of that trade I saved by doing that? Okay. This is how you can utilize this little tool. That book that we gave you there, it'll really show you how to utilize this and to see how each and every single trade works. Like for instance, if you were looking for a trade right now, see your power meter is green right here. I could actually wait. Let's see where this thing should go. Hadn't checked here yet. See it right there on that swing? What do you think? We'll do a lightning trade down. See if we get a little thrust retrace. Now, this is where I would have taken the trade. Matter of fact, you saw me box it in the room, but I'm going to show you how to use lightning if you want to use the lightning. And by the way, you can also use the red stealth to give an example. I'll show you how to do that trade too. Now this will actually fire lightning right under here. I don't particularly like that one as much, but it will fire it. You'll see this turn red. And it'll fire it if it can get there. This is where I wanted the trade was perfectly at resistance, but that's okay. We'll take it here too. Because if it does break here, we should come down to here at least. Right? And then you could just simply trust. I would actually personally, if it even came back to here, I'd probably fire it anyway on a short. But lightning will go ahead and get it. See again how you can use this. PM1 is simply this meter right here. It's green now, so if it goes red, it's going to fire that trade. See there? We just fired that trade. Now that might be a little bit more conservative than you might want on lightning because of the way this went straight up. Lightning is designed for zigzags, okay? And that's what it's looking at, is these zigzags. When you get bars straight up, there's no zigzag except right here. Right here, even straight down, there's no zigzag except right here. That's how lightning works. Okay, but you'll notice we still got a decent trade. It's okay. It's fine with me. All right, any questions on this so far? Because we've designed Object Trader now to where you have a box trade, a bar close trade, lightning 1 and 2. Now, lightning 1 and 2 are simply transitional type trades, which means I would have to go green again to ever get another red again. Now we're working on that, and we're going to get it to where it does real-time lightning so that it won't have to transition. That'll be in everybody's package free of charge too. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Manny. All right. So notice that we have lightning 1 and 2 are actually already red. So we can't really trade with this one anymore if we wanted to add. Okay. But we do have others that we can also do too. Let's see if we can figure out which one to use. How about stealth? Let's just go ahead and try for a stealth. We'll turn on stealth, short, and we may have already gotten it because that stealth already printed, but looks like it's going back above it, so that's okay. See how stealth is doing this right here? This means that if we get another red stealth, we'll fire 3 contracts because I'm choosing stealth 0, which means the very next stealth. Okay, watch and see how this trade fires. This is kind of a good one to use when it's choppy or to get these really good trend changes. Like way down here to give an example. See that stealth kick in right there? Choose the second or even the third one and look at that monster move. And we've designed it to where stealth can actually be taken on the first, second, third, fourth, any one you want as far as that goes. If stealth actually turns red, that'll fire 3 contracts. There you go. Now notice stealth hadn't showed up on the chart, but my scripts already knew stealth was there. See stealth just now show up? Okay. Now let me show you another little feature that we have on here. And this is your trail stops. Object Trader, everything we've built about Object Trader, we have built with dynamically on the fly type trading so that you can actually do everything that you do absolutely on the fly. So let's say that I wanted to put my trail stop at mid-band. I just simply go to my VIP trend. Remember, line 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's line 4. So if I want to do that, I just simply change this to line 4. Trail enabled, engage my trail. And this will actually pop right up to my mid-band. Okay? Now, you've got all kinds of things you can do in this. I can even do a trail stop based on swings. I can do a trail stop based on stealth. Okay, notice that I'm on VIP trend right now. Now, if you click your space bar, you'll actually see where your trail stop is. A second, it should show it. Maybe it doesn't on the VIP trend. Let's do it on the next one. We'll do it on lightning. Hit your space bar. There's your swing on your lightning. And you can even change this dynamically on the chart. See, if I wanted to put my trail stop there and then engage it, it'll pop it right. Well, this is that one right there, so I'll bring it down further. See, I can move that dynamically and even change my trail stop. And now I'm flat because I just simply moved it live. Okay, what if I wanted to take a counter trend trade but actually go with lightning? Now with lightning, it doesn't have to have it doesn't have a T and B button because it's only swings. Now remember this trade on gold that we called in the room and everything? But you've got 4 trends on your charts. This is trend 1. If that breaks above that right there, technically that's a long trend on a power meter. Okay? Right now that's where the swing is. It may go lower, that's fine. It may go lower. Okay, but we've got it set for power meter 1 to take a counter trend trade. If it see the power meter, I just forgot to turn it on. It's too late now. We'll go with power meter 2. See where that's already turned green? I have to use the next power meter or just fire the button, either way. But I'm just trying to show you how to use it. Watch power meter 2. See there, it just kicked on. And why didn't that go ahead and give me a trade? It should have. Or did I set that for short? I think I set it for short, didn't I? Well, anyway, if you're using the power meter, what it does is it looks for an opposite direction, and we've already gotten our opposite direction so far. So now if we wanted to take this trade, since we can't use our power meters, couldn't we then try stealth? See what I mean? Now watch stealth. It's just simply going to look for this line to change to green instead of red. And then you'll get a stealth trade. If it does it. There's your stealth. It entered the trade. Now I'd put my stop just under the swing. And remember that trade we got? We got this in the room this morning. We called this trade in the room this morning. Remember? We even said where to put your stop. Remember, it came down and kissed here, wicked it, and then bounced, didn't it? And that's a stealth trade. So what we've done is we built every single tool into Object Trader that a person could actually even imagine. Okay, let me show you how to use, if you just want to fire a market order. I'll kill this trade. All right, let's say that you want to fire just a market order. If this breaks this little swing right here, we'll just simply fire a market order. The way you do that is just the buy button, and it'll do X number of contracts up to your max number. So if I wanted this trade on a market type order, all I got to do is just simply hit the buy button. Okay. If I hit the sell button again, it'll take all three off. What if I hit the buy button but only had it set for 2 on sell? Well, it'll only sell 2 of the long, see there, and leaves 1 on. So you can always scale out of trades also with even your market orders. Okay. The close button will close everything. That'll get you out of your trades. But always make sure that you go right back and you check your positions, you check your orders. Okay. Always right click and say, check my orders and check my positions. Okay. And check your account. Make sure there's, that's where you think it should be. All right. That's when you get through for the day. All right. Now let's see, we went over several of these things. You want to see how a predictor trade works? I think we had a predictor trade on gold. You got to wait for a thrust and a retrace, but let's try a predictor trade. I'll go ahead and fast forward this so we get that thrust. Remember how gold did? It was a beautiful little move. Matter of fact, if you want to get some of it, we'll just fire a market. Okay. And now you're looking for what kind of trade, everyone? You're looking for a retrace trade. We called this trade in the room too. Everybody remember it? So you want to see how to take it? All right, what we're going to do is we're going to set predictor. We're going to do like a touch plus, let's just do a touch plus 3 so we can get it. And what we're going to do is if it comes down to within 3 ticks of this predictor, that means that it will fire a long trade if I set this for long. Okay, because this is actually like a region. Remember the region that I taught you? You have a top button and a bottom button. And this is just exactly like that region. So outside the top of that region means outside the box. Okay, inside would of course mean inside, and outside the bottom would be, if you wanted to do a short outside, to give an example, out the bottom of the box, you could do it that way, turn that on. Okay, but since we're looking at longs, obviously we're not looking for shorts, right? So we're going to look for a little trade. And now if there's another predictor trying to form, it won't fire this trade. But if there's not a predictor trying to form, it'll still look at this little predictor right here. Okay, that's touch. Now let's see if we get a 3. And we may even get another predictor. We'll find out. And by the way, usually when I see something like that, I go ahead and fire. See, it's hitting that predictor, so I'd fire 1 manually. Let's see if we can get the others on predictor. Long outside predictor. And if it pops up above predictor, we'll get that trade. Let's see if we can get it. It may print another one. It prints them live. And the algorithm's looking at all this price action right now. So this predictor is still in play right now, but it has to be 3 ticks above that box to fire, because I've got it set for touch plus 3, which means outside the box. Okay, I'd probably put my stop just under there, simply because that's a swing. Yep. All right, let's see if we can get a trade. Predictor trades a little fewer and further between. Okay, notice it printed another predictor, so it's not going to print off of this one, so I would just fire them anyway. See there? Because it came really close to this one, but it didn't fire off this one because this one printed. That's normally the way I do it if I see that. Okay? Now let me show you something else about this that's really cool too. What if you decided that you wanted to trade this a little bit more automatically? Okay, we've got auto features built into it also. So if I turn this on right here, this will actually say I'm on auto bar close PM trades. Well, that's actually auto bar close PM predictor and stealth. I need to change that. But this is actually now on automatic mode. And that would mean that every time it saw the top of a green predictor, if I put it on required trend, it would fire at the top of that predictor. That one looks like it didn't come within 3 ticks. It really close to that, but not quite. All right, so we didn't get that trade. But if you turn this on, and let's say that you wanted to even short a predictor, well, don't use required trend, because required trend actually looks at the mid band. And the mid band is a long color. So if I turn on required trend, I can't even do a short trade. So it won't even activate it. Okay. If I turn that off, I can. You've also got features like auto LESE, and what that actually means is that, and this gets a little bit more complex, and I'm not saying to use this part of it until you get really good, but what this does is this actually will automatically switch from long to short with this trend change. Okay, and I'm not saying just turn that on and let it run, because when it's choppy, you want to actually, like, well, this morning, for instance, on NQ, you were scalping, and you knew you were scalping because you were in a range. Okay, we trended quite well on gold and stuff like that. So, this trade works really, really well on predictor type trades, on good trends, and it also works sideways. But when you're sideways, you don't want to just go for gusto runners. You want to just scalp it. Instead of going for like, 31, 18, 30, and 40, you wouldn't be doing that if it was sideways. Okay. Let's see, which of the object traders do you usually use? All of them. I use them all, Roger, at least sometimes. Sometimes when we say box it in, to give an example, if I don't have time to box it while I'm still trying to show everybody else trades in the room, I just go ahead and do something like this. I just go, wow, I'm going to get that. And then I know where my stop's going to be. Because, to give an example, like boxing it in, is definitely a good way to trade. Matter of fact, this little box right here, let's just kill this trade. Let's just say that you wanted to get this trade boxed and long only. And I usually do like even a touch +2 or even something like that. And the moment it touches above that box, it will fire that trade long. I may not have very much more data. We'll find out. We downloaded it right at 10. So I may run out pretty soon. Now, that little book that we wrote will really tell you how to use this thing, though, pretty well, because all these features we built into it, you don't have to use them, but they're there for you. For instance, like a predictor type trade, like that one right there, that would have fired right there on that predictor. For sure on that one. See, we had it set a minute ago at 3. Now we're going to be taking a breakout trade instead. But watch this box actually fire the trade. See there? And what if I wanted, let's just sell 3 of them for the fun of it. What if I wanted to add on the touch of the box again? I can actually chase it with my box. I'm taking some off so that we can do above the maximum contracts. But see how you can move that box and do it in real time? See, watch it fire 3 more. As soon as it touches 2 above, that is. I can even move it live right there. See there? That's a pretty cool little box. Used to be you couldn't do that with our box, but now you can. And that's a pretty cool little featured little gizmo now. I like it a lot. Okay, so learn to use, first off, the region box. I think you'll really like it. And keep in mind that you want to learn exactly how the TMB buttons work, because like I said, you could actually have like a big consolidation patch. You could buy the bottom, sell the top. You could sell the top, or sell the bottom through, buy the top through. You can do anything you want with those TMB buttons, because these are interactive live on your charts. I can do anything I want with that. Okay, if I wanted to for instance, let's see if we can do it real quick. We'll try to fire a long trade inside the box, touch +2. See, like I'm long inside, so that means long inside here. So it has to go inside the box, and I can move my box. See there, I'm right at support. See if we can get a little trade. This looks like it's going to chop, so I'm going to just do a quick little scalp trade instead. Long inside the box. Let's see if we can get something. And that'll automatically fire it like that. Okay, so that's the way you can use this box live on your charts. Okay, you can also use anything else live too. If you want to, for instance, just go with like a bar close to give an example. I can see a trade setting up as we speak right here. Everybody sees it, right? See how it thrust up? It's got to pull back to right there. I haven't done it yet. Let's see if we can get that trade. By the way, don't delete a region. To get rid of it, all you have to do is hit insert again. It'll get rid of it. Okay, because if you delete something, let me show you what I mean. If I click delete to delete that region instead, it says object was drawn by an indicator or strategy. Removing this will also remove the object or strategy. So you don't want to do that because that will remove Object Trader. And let's say, for instance, you were already in a trade. Let's just sell it for the fun of it. Let's say you were already in a trade and you were to delete this little, well, I deleted the targets. So, but notice that I did something wrong because I'm still in the trade. See there? So you want to be careful doing any delete buttons or something like that, because now I would have to actually close Object Trader to flatten it, flatten my positions. See there? So always make sure that you don't ever just delete something just for the sake of deleting it. Okay? The only thing that you want to really delete is the sniper line. And I don't think I'll go into that as much today. It is in the video. But, well, I will real quick. Let's say that you had sniper set up like this, and you wanted to take a short of that line right there. You just simply hit enter. See how that turns to a magenta line? That's going to be my bottom button. So if I wanted to short that, let's say we tried to just short it for, I don't know, 10 ticks, just for the fun of it. All right, we just simply turn it on like that. That's the sniper. All right, but if I move this line, see how the dot stayed there? That's the only time you want to use the delete button is on sniper, because I can also hit enter and it'll bring the little dot to it because that's where the trade is. Okay, but I can also just hit delete and it'll get rid of those little dots. Okay, so that way you always, if you're using sniper, you got to remember that the horizontal line on Ninja is not necessarily where the trade is. You got to look for the little dot, because if I hit that enter button on sniper, see the little dot? If I move it, enter, little dot, enter, little dot. Now notice now that it's my top button, because anytime your price is below, it's your top button. See here, so if I wanted to fire this trade like right now, to give an example, and I'm out of data, so it's not going to do it. I'm on pause, I'm at the end of it. But this would have already fired because it touched the line. Okay, so just remember on sniper, when you're above the line, it's going to be magenta. And when you're below the line, it's going to be a lime green one. But if you move it dynamically, like above the price like that, that's the same thing as that line. So it takes that line away and changes it to that line. Okay? Just always remember that sniper can be used as a one line, or it can even be used as a two line. See? It's a pretty cool little tool too. I don't use it as much because when we're in the room and everything and we're calling those trades, we're pretty much nailing them right where we say we are. Okay. Yeah, see, Roger says, for instance, so far I like the box and the predictor the best. You know, I'm kind of one of those that really likes the bar close feature real well. And we're going to add another one to this object type, probably called the 1, 2, 3 rollover. You know, because just to give an example, like right here, if you were boxing this, there's a candle up, there's a candle down, you close below there, so that's a little 1, 2, 3. Anybody look at your real charts and tell me, did that do 10 ticks? And I'll bet it did, because that's like a little rollover. It probably came down to here. maybe even here. Let's see, when you use bar close, do you add any ticks to it? You can't. Bar close is just strictly bar close. That's something that we're going to actually add. I would love to actually have it to where we could even do a bar close and tell it we want to do a 2 range, a 4 range, a 6 range, an 8 range, a Ranko, or whatever on the fly. And that's coming in the future. By the way, the next step on Object Trader's evolutionary trail is stealth is going to be able to be done in multiple tick frames on the fly. So, and even on the trail stop too. So for instance, if I was watching this trend right here, I could actually position my stealth before I ever turn on my trail stop underneath my lows and get out right there. Now this one happened to turn out beautifully anyway, but you see what I'm getting at? You might be able to really utilize a good long trend stealth to do that. And to be able to change your, and we're even going to do it, I think, where you'll be able to do 2 stealths crossing each other too. So we've been a little over an hour. What does everybody think? I didn't get everything gone over, but that booklet will walk you through. You know, for instance, I've got 4 set on here right now. Let me back this up just a little bit so we can do a quick trade. We're not going to care about the direction of the trade. I just want to show you how to use the targets. Okay, we're at about 6:03 in the morning again, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and just real quickly look. Let's say, for instance, that I wanted to just fire a market order. I already showed you how to do that. You just simply hit the market order, right? Notice that it goes with a 10 tick stop first, and then when I moved it, see how that changes that target there? Let me show you that again. See how it goes to 10? That's because I'm defaulted at 10 on mine. All right, so if I hit that, that's 10 ticks. If I hit another one, that's 18 ticks. See that? If I hit a third one, it's 30 ticks. That's what I've got mine set at right now anyway. And if I hit a fourth one, it's 40 ticks. If I hit a fifth one, it isn't even going to trade anything because we set our max targets, our max contracts at 4. Okay? So that's why it won't fire anymore. All right? But if you're using this, and let's say that you started with 5 contracts, the way this works, well, let's just say you start with, let's just change this real quick. We'll go ahead and do this for like 10 for the fun of it, just for a minute. All right. Now, when I change that to 10, you'll notice that I can go above 4. See here, where I can go all the way to 10, but then it stops. Okay, but what if I was to do like 5 contracts, to give an example, but I've only got 4 targets? Well, what we do is we roll over. So if you did 5, you would be 1 on this target, 1 on this one, 1 on this one, 1 on this one, and then 1 on this one. So if I do 5, let's just go ahead and do it. All right, see how it did 2 on target 1, 1, 1, and 1? That's the way that works. Okay, what if I turned one of my targets off though? Let's say that I only look for 3 targets, but I want to do 5 contracts. Well, it's going to roll over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sell 5. See how it's got 2 on that one, 2 on that one, 1 on that one. So that tells you, you know, right at where your targets will go. Okay. Now, if you did like say 8, to give an example, obviously it's going to do 2 on each because it can go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. See, 2, 2, 2, and 2. Okay. That's the way that works. All right. You do have a break even trigger that you can use any way you want to use it. Okay. The break even trigger is just simply looks at, you know, for instance, if I've got break even trigger set at like 8, well, the moment it gets to 8 ticks, it'll go to break even. And you can even use an offset. So you could actually do break even minus a couple of ticks if you wanted to. Okay, that way you might stay in a trade because you'll notice where you think to get in, The others are thinking to come right back to and wick it and then go again. So you can actually use an offset on that. All right. Now we got another feature on here that I like really, really well. It's called the break even, pardon me, not the break even, the exit on close. And I'll show you that real quick. Okay. Let's see if we can get in a little trade first. I'll go ahead and do like a little region. We'll just go ahead and do, since we missed that one, we'll go ahead and do a little region. I'll show you how to use exit on close. We're not going to do 8. That's too many. All right. And then we'll just see if we can get a trade. And then I'll show you how exit on close works. Exit on close can be your absolute best friend, because what it does is it puts a stop that the broker sees, but the stop that you've actually got is a line on your chart and nobody else sees your trade. See if we can get this. Okay, we got it by going to the top of it. So let me get this out of the way for just a second, because I'm teaching, not trading. We'll get these out of the way. All right, notice that this is your stop right here. This is actually at your broker. Okay, if you looked at your orders, see here, this is your stop right here at 1280.30, right? You'll notice that's 1280.30. All right, but what if I wanted to use an exit on close type instead? All right, let's say that we knew it was might come here and kiss it, this line here, because that's where it broke down. What if I wanted to put my stop there, but I wanted to go ahead and use exit on close instead? That puts the real stop that's at the broker here, but if it closes above that line right there, it will still fire my trade, a market order with the broker to close out my positions. Okay? So you'll see here now that your stop is at 1280.60 with your broker. See it right there? If I turn this off, you'll see it's right back to 1279.40, which is where our line's at. So what that does is it makes it to where other people won't be seeing your stops. Let me just show you how I like to use it myself. See this swing right here? Well, that already took it, but anyway, your stop right there, and then just put an exit on close, and then drag it down and put an exit on close. See what I mean? That way, if they wick this, they don't take you out by just checking that swing. Okay? Because exit on close means that if it closes above the line, it fires a market order with your broker. Now, if you lose internet connection, this is your real stop. Okay? That's at your broker. This is not at your broker. That's the only caveat to it. And my son had one time where he was trading oil and his computer locked up and it got his other stop instead. So he walked away with a $300 loss instead of a $300 profit, because by losing his internet like that, he had his stop right here. And by the time he called his broker, you know, it had gotten that stop by the time he got through and everything. So, you know, this is not your real stop. Okay, this is your real stop. This is your real stop as long as NinjaTrader's running, though. Watch how if it closes above it, it'll actually fire a market order and get you out. See if it does it. We'll speed it up just a little bit. You'll see that this is no longer your stop here. This is your stop, but the one that's at the broker's here. See what I mean? So that's important to know, because that stop being at your broker, being up here, that's 12 ticks. Okay, so you just got taken out. Let me show you how to change that if you want to. Go into Object Trader and go to your catastrophic stop. See your catastrophic stop here is set to 12 ticks behind the other one. Well, if you only want that like 7 ticks behind the other one, you can change that. But just remember, each time you move your real stop, or pardon me, your exit on close stop, that this stop will move, you know, 12 ticks behind it or 7 ticks behind it or whatever you set it for. Okay. Now I went over quite a bit, but keep in mind that this is not difficult to use. Not really at all, because what you just want to do is you want to just simply put Object Trader on your chart. You realize you've got market orders. You realize you can close. You can even reverse a trade. You know, for instance, if I was short on this and all of a sudden this thing decides to pop up, which we all know that I think it did, didn't it? A little bit later. No, this one's actually, let's go short here instead, or long here instead, and I'll reverse it because this looks like it's going to break down. And I'll show you how to reverse it. By the way, you can even do reverse here. Reverse it, stop. We've got it all built into this thing. See, watch it. If it touches that line, it'll fire a market order to get rid of that one contract and fire 3 more. See there? Okay, so you can use reverse on stop. You've even got reverse at target, by the way, which I didn't even go over today. But let's say that you see a really good area that you think you could reverse a trade. You can actually set your target there and reverse on target 1, 2, 3, or 4 automatically. So I think you can clearly see we built a lot into this thing. But like I say, you don't have to use it all. It's a phenomenal little trader. I don't think anybody on the market's got anything close to it. It beats Chart Trader hands down with what all it does. And we're constantly working on making it even better. The targets are at the brokers. Absolutely, Billy Ray, on your question. You know, for instance, we're in market replay, but it's still the same thing. See your targets at your broker. That's your actual targets. Your buy limits, and then there's your stop. Okay, if I turn on exit on close instead, you'll see your stop's now higher. Say went to 1278.40, which is right here instead. Okay, I didn't even get to go over, actually you can also even tell it how much you want to make in a day, and it'll shut itself off if it gets to a certain point. On each chart, if you set it by chart, and on account P&L, it just warns you. It says you're near your account max, and then you go, wow, that's pretty good. I'll just close it out. See what I mean? Because every time you don't close something out, don't you ever notice that sometimes they just go right back against you? Isn't it crazy? Now, remember, we called this trade in the room this morning, right here. I had that line drawn. We nailed that trade right there. And does anybody remember how nicely it went down? Went down pretty nicely. And you can move targets on the fly and just get them out of your way. What does everybody think of Object Trader so far in our Viper scripts? You know, again, don't try to learn it in one day. When I was teaching my son nearly 4 years ago, I think it was, he told me it was like drinking through a fire hose. But you don't have to make it that way. Just understand that it's little pieces. You know, if you want to try region out, to give an example, and make some great coin doing it, you know, just have at it. But learn how to use it. You know, realize that, you know, you can't go with a long outside if you got short turned on. So you have to utilize it correctly. Just remember, it's not like setting an order at your broker, you know, for like bracketing in, because it's much more than that. You can, you know, with a bracket in, have you ever noticed that they'll wick you into a trade and then they'll go the other direction? That's usually what happens. But if you box it in with a close, to give an example, they'll usually wick it and then they'll go your direction. So that's why we designed these traders to be used like that. You've also got another trader on here, and let me show you that real quick and then we will wrap. I'll go ahead and close this out. Got another trader on here called the Wedge Trader, and I'm going to go ahead and just set it because I see a trade setting up. Turn on Wedge, use your Ray trade, Ray on Ninja Trader tool right up here at the top left. And I can actually take that trade if it just simply breaks that little wedge there. And I can even move it on the fly. What if I wanted a little tighter? Like that right there, maybe. Watch it fire the trade. Little wedge trader. Going down a little bit further, that's okay. You can even position this on the fly if I wanted to. Now I've got this going pretty quick, so I might not catch it. So I'm going to leave it right where it's at. But I would probably position it right along there, and it would more than likely already get it. But this wedge trade also can even be utilized as another line along the bottom. So in other words, it uses the TMB buttons also. What if I drew a wedge like this, to give an example? Not saying this is where it trades at, but now that's my top button, right? And that's my bottom button. Okay. If it goes below this, this wedge will become my top button. See what I mean? Just like the sniper, because it knows, where prices are under or prices are above. Okay. Now I will go ahead and reposition that just for the fun of it. Just for the fun of it. It's right on top of where I called the trade out this morning. Does everybody remember that? 1272.90. Does anybody remember that? Because that wasn't on market replay like we're doing right now. That was live. But see my little wedge trader? If it touches +2, it should fire 2 contracts. Touch +1. See if we can get it. And it has to actually also have a confirmation tick too. There you go. Just got you a trade with wedge. See what kind of tools we built for everybody? And the one thing at Viper that we've always done and will always do, we may spend, I've actually personally spent nearly $25,000 out of pocket for Object Trader. But we offer these type of things to our traders at no different price. Because if I add, for instance, a 3-bar close to Object Trader, I don't go, well, guess what, guys, you're going to have to pay another $100 a month. No, we don't do that. We just give them our tools. We've got great tools, and we give it to them. What if I wanted to add with my wedge? I can actually move it dynamically on the chart and even get an extra by simply turning that on. See there? Just added 3 more. That's how wedge works. Great tools, believe me. I've sat up at night and dreamed about these tools, and that's how they came to pass. Wedge traders, ray traders, bar close traders, every kind of trader you can imagine is on this. Let's see, what would have happened to the bottom wedge line had it been pulled up to the predictor line? Well, you could actually do that, and you can do it on the fly too. For instance, let's say that you're not even in a trade, and you said, you know what, this is making a little consolidation, and I might want to do something like this. I can do anything I want with that wedge. See there? Isn't that cool? Now, how many have a wedge they can draw on their charts and actually get a trade? That's a cool little featured tool, and can actually get you into a trade at a pretty good spot simply because trend lines are really good at drawing on charts. And so what did we design for everyone? We designed a little wedge trader for you. You want to see it in action again? They've got another wedge drawn. And by the way, you can even position it tighter. We'll just go ahead and leave it at that though. Let's see if it takes it. On the fly. See, it didn't quite get 2 ticks. See, it's got to have a confirmation tick too. So notice even though I touched that line, it did not get that trade. So I'll reposition it. Still hadn't got it yet, has it? See, we're going right across those tops. There you go. That's a cool little tool right there. That's one of my favorite ones personally. I use that one quite a bit. Now, when I'm in the room, not as much because, I'm trying to draw on those charts to get everybody into the proper trade. Okay. And if you've been in our room the last 3 days, I think you've heard about 90% trade calls at least. Okay. Yeah, the wedge is pretty good, isn't it, Roger? Well, I ran this about an hour and a half. I apologize for being quite that long, but it didn't really, touch the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, with what all you can do with Object Trader. But be sure to study your little tools that little book. And, just start right at the very first, well, you don't have to start with the disclaimer because, we have to do a disclaimer, to be legal. But introduction to the video book, talking about what we're going to talk about. And then there's your parameters, your region. If you wanted to learn how to use that wedge trade, just scroll down to wedge, using NinjaTrader for wedge, using top and bottom buttons, using offsets, moving the wedge while it's live. I just did all that for you. Add-on trades. You can even add on with wedge. All of that, just study those little videos, and they're just as quick as touching. And there it is. Okay, did everybody hear that? All right. So thanks everybody for coming. I hope this helped out. I was helping a bunch of people that really weren't understanding, kind of what was going on. And we realized there's a little bit to it. So I wanted to do this webinar to let everybody get a little more idea of how to use the tools. Okay. And like I said, keep in mind, there's more to it. There's 3 trail stops on here. You can utilize them any way you want to on the fly. Okay, when we say we're going to use line 6 to give an example on a trail stop, and then we decide, well, wait a minute, it's starting to tag closer to like wicking line 6, we might back it off 3 ticks, and you can do that live on your chart. And when we use mid-band, when did this take you out of this trade on mid-band? Well, right here. Well, what if you use line 6? Well, it took you out right up here, and that was the monster part of the trade. See there, line 6. So in our webinars, we'll keep going over this stuff. Thanks, everyone. I know, about 65, 75 people stayed. I appreciate it. All right. Have a very good one, and enjoy playing with it. You got 2 weeks, and our members have, forever. They're with us. They've got the tools. All right. And if anybody does want to go ahead and get them live instead, I highly recommend learning everything about the tools before you jump live, because, you don't want to take a wedge trade and not know how to use it, because it's got T and B buttons. Because a wedge is simply that, a wedge is a triangle, isn't it? Isn't that what a wedge is? Okay, and that's the way we designed it. But we didn't design it like this. We designed it like this, so you could use it on the fly. Okay, thanks everyone. Have a great day. And I'll be around if anybody needs anything on Skype. And I will put this on the webinar link for free, and we'll also put it to our members. Have a great day, everyone.